In 1992, Ross Perot was running for president and had a running mate, Admiral James Stockdale. I remember at the time, the guy looked really old, and he came up to the mic to introduce himself. And the first words out of his mouth was, "Who am I and why am I here?" It sounded almost like it was a question, and it just cracked everybody up. He was trying to introduce himself, but I think if you're an old person, you probably shouldn't use that line. And I was looking him up and I was thinking, how old was he? And he was 69 years old, and I'm 66 years old. So I'm getting up to that age. I want to introduce myself. My name is Dave Dixon. I live in Northern California. I live in California. I love California. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself since I'm starting this YouTube channel. Part of it, I'm starting it over, but I'll get into that. I'm half Japanese. My mother was a Japanese lady. Her name was Matsue. And then my father was a U.S. Marine for a little over 20 years. So that makes me Hapa, which is half Japanese. I served in the Navy for 4 years and really enjoyed it, had a lot of memories of it. Part of my channel might be to some of the stories that happened while I was there. I've been married for 36 years now to the same woman. I like to point that out. And I have 3 children, two boys and a girl. And the girl doesn't talk to us, anymore. They have a great relationship with the 2 sons. So there's another story I can talk about, and I will talk about it. My degree was in economics. I did a retirement planning for MetLife when I was younger, just out of college. And so this channel is going to be about personal financing, how to save money, how to invest money, or I should say how I did it. And so I think that I have some stories that I could tell that would be informative and might help some people out. I know in my personal life, I've had people approach me that know me, and they've asked me questions, and it doesn't happen super often now, but they just want their opinion on that, and so I would like to have my channel be about that. I do have 3 channels because the idea is that you're supposed to find your niche. And I couldn't break it all down into one channel. And I'm not really in it for the money. I'm more into it for just getting this information out as I'm getting older. And even though I have the ability to retire, I guess with Social Security right now at full retirement, I'm gonna wait for 3 more years. And then that's another story. That's another thing that I could talk about, because I have everybody saying, "Oh, you should retire. You should have retired at 62 or whatever." But I have my reasons, and I'll have another video on that. My other 2 channels, one of them is actually 14 years old. It's called Bat Builder, and it's about me building the Batmobiles. Yeah, I built them in my garage here in Northern California, and I'm gonna showcase them and kind of talk more about the procedure of how I built it. And then I've got a bunch of other cars, so I'm a car guy, but we're going to talk about the Batmobile first. And so if you're into that, you might, look me up over there under Bat Builder. The other channel that I'm going to do has to do with pool sale, pool designs, everything about swimming pools. And the reason is I've been designing pools, building pools, working on pools, talking to people about pools for the last 40 years. I have a limited, skill set, and it is all around swimming pools. So, like I said, I've been doing it for 40 years. Started with the company I'm working with now 28 years ago in 1997. And so I have a long run with them. And I've been a salesman, designer. I was also a pool builder at one time and a general contractor. But it was really when I got into pool sales and working for this company that really made the financial difference for me. This video is going to be about personal finance, how I've looked at saving money, a lot about economics. I don't think it's that hard. I think it's very boring. It's pretty dry. It can be dry. But, we all are economists. Everybody that's listening to this is an economist, in the sense that, we're trying to get the most for our money. Economics is a lot about time and money. And we always say that we're all economists, just some of us are trained in it. So I went to Sacramento State, and I got my degree in economics, and I wanted to be an economist at some point, but I ended up finding a better job, and a job that is more suited for me. I want to talk about some of the stories of my life. Being Japanese, I've lived all my life in California, and my dad, he was a Marine. He was in Korea and Vietnam twice. So we pretty much lived in California, although different places. The house that I live in now, I've been in it for 19 years. The house before this one, I actually built it. I think I was there for 13 years, and I built it when I was in my 30s. So I want to lastly talk about California and the times that we're living in. I hear so much negative about the times that we're living in. It's been the hardest times ever. People are really struggling, and I do see that, But there have been people also that say it's not that hard to be successful in California or in this era, because a lot of people are just not trying. And you got to admit that there's a lot of people that are just not trying. I've been trying, quite a bit. I remember a quick story when I was selling pools, and my niece, who is now 38, we had gone to Mongolian barbecue, and she asked me just off the cuff. I think she was probably like 7 or 8 at the time, but she noticed that I was working a lot, and her question was, "Uncle, why do you work so hard?" It kind of shocked me that she said that. I never had anybody ask me that. I didn't feel like I worked that hard, but I really had to kind of go into my soul and try to find out why. Why do I work this hard? And I would work a lot of hours. I think that's what was that she would always see. I'd always make it to family events, but I would work a lot of hours, to sell pools, sell and design pools. And I remember telling her that when I grew up very poor. My father was in the military, and they don't make a lot of money in the military. Plus, you're moving around all the time, so it's hard to build equity in a house, especially as an enlisted man. And my father retired as a gunnery sergeant. So I remember, being poor. It wasn't just because my dad didn't have a great job or a great retirement. Both of those were true. They weren't great jobs and they weren't great retirement. But he had more to do with his alcoholism. So back in the day, they didn't have counseling for PTSD. And he had been in Korea and Vietnam twice. So I remember when he came back from Vietnam, that was a really anti-war type of event. And I remember him telling me that he got spit on, while he was in his uniform. They actually told the military, start riding around in your uniform. And he got called baby killer. So when he came back to California, being a very liberal state, it was kind of like at the epicenter, of that negative thing toward the military. And unfortunately, it's still kind of out there. I'm glad that people are understanding, the sacrifices that veterans and our military make, but there's a large majority that's not respectful to that. So I live in California. I love California. I know everybody thinks we're weird out here and, we're a bunch of Looney Tunes, but I love it. I love the weather. It's one of my biggest things, obviously. I love the people that I live near, friends and family. I really do love just the interactions that I have with everybody. We just went to a restaurant last night with my brother and sister-in-law. We have a great relationship. It's called Papa Pablo's. It's a Greek place. And I really did have a good time there. Everybody was very nice. You know, there's no robberies going on, or you just have to be careful. Keep your head on a swivel is what I tell my wife. So that's what my channels are going to be about. And I hope that you will subscribe, mostly because I would like to be able to build a community. If you have questions, I would like you to be able to ask me, and I'll either answer the question directly to you, or I may put it into another video, you know, just as an idea. And so that's really what I'm looking for, is to establish a community around those three items, and the Batmobile, the designing of pools, and then in this case, you know, personal finance. So thank you for finding me. I appreciate it, and I look forward to more videos. And one thing I did learn was, or I've heard, is that the first 10 videos are going to be crap. So don't be upset if they're crap. Well, I'm trying to do the best videos that I can, and I can understand why they say that. So please hang in there with me, and I will try to get better. Remember, this was my first video after 14 years. So I will make the effort to try to get better and try to provide more concise information. Thank you for looking, and I appreciate you.